They spit, we hit. I'm telling you what it is.
Trump must go now. ICE must go now.
The protests against immigration raids continued in Los Angeles for the third straight day. Police and protesters confronted each other on Sunday, June 8th, near a federal building in downtown Los Angeles, where California National Guard troops are deployed. Police opened fire on the crowd. Protesters initially scattered in panic. But within moments, they regrouped, voices loud, and began marching straight toward the line of troops. About a dozen National Guard members, along with Department of Homeland Security personnel, pushed back a group of demonstrators that amassed outside the federal detention center. The complex is near Los Angeles City Hall. The security personnel marched toward the protesters and clashed with them, pushing one on the ground. The confrontation continued on the street outside the facility. California National Guard troops arrived in Los Angeles on Sunday to quell demonstrations over President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement, as the state's Democratic governor called their deployment unlawful. The National Guard began deploying as demonstrations over federal immigration raids continued for a third day in Los Angeles, culminating in confrontations between protesters and police. The announcement came in the early evening of Saturday, June 7th, as protests continued in pockets of Los Angeles County. Footage showed demonstrators detained during a protest against ICE and U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown in Los Angeles on Sunday, June 8th. U.S. President Donald Trump, speaking to reporters in New Jersey, characterized earlier demonstrations in the city as riots and threatened action against demonstrators who spit on police or National Guard troops.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order. When they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris slammed the deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles as a dangerous escalation designed to provoke chaos. In a Sunday social media post, Harris, who calls LA her home, condemned President Trump's immigration crackdown in the city. She wrote, quote, unquote, "This administration's actions aren't about public safety. They're about stoking fear. Fear of a community demanding dignity and due process." Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass on Sunday criticized the Trump administration for provoking chaos in her city through its recent immigration raids.
Deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation, but we need to be real about this. This is about another agenda. It's not about public safety. There's clearly no plan, and there is clearly no policy.
Protesters called it heartbreaking.
That's honestly like what's heartbreaking the most, because they're making it seem like they're really bad people, like criminals, and when they're not, when they're just trying to work hard for their own families.
It's a shame that you guys are trying to start a civil war on your own people instead of welcoming them for all their aid. Yeah. My husband's a soldier overseas as we speak, and I'm a veteran. So this angers me. This angers me. It's disgusting. They're using your own soldiers on your own people.
According to Reuters, law enforcement faced off with a few hundred protesters in Paramount and 100 in downtown Los Angeles on Saturday, June 7th, with federal officers firing gas canisters in efforts to disperse crowds. Federal agents in riot gear stormed parts of Los Angeles on Friday, June 6th, raiding stores, federal buildings, and immigrant-heavy neighborhoods. The fallout was swift. Protests erupted across downtown LA, MacArthur Park, Paramount, and Compton, met with tear gas, flashbangs, and arrests. As clashes continued into Saturday, June 7th, the White House made official, for the first time since the 1992 LA riots, the president federalized the National Guard. ICE, FBI, and other federal forces carried out immigration raids at Home Depots, fashion warehouses, and even at routine check-in sites like the Roybal Federal Building. Dozens were detained. Within hours, streets filled with outraged community members, immigration advocates, and union organizers. The city is now on edge. In the 1992 Los Angeles riots that came out of the Rodney King beating led to local and state officials bringing in the military to support law enforcement. California's National Guard deployed to the city, eventually joined by soldiers from the 7th Infantry Division and members of 1st Marine Division. The riots only lasted a few days, but the National Guard remained in Los Angeles County for roughly a month.